Does sitting cause back pain? A very interesting, very logical question. A lot of people think the answer is yes, but the answer is actually maybe. We're gonna see exactly how that works. Before we get started, subscribe to this channel because you are gonna learn a lot about chronic back pain. You're gonna see resources that probably chances are you won't see anywhere. They come from my direct experience. I struggled with chronic back pain for more than 10 years. All of the doctors and the experts were useless. They didn't really recommend anything that worked. So if you've struggled with chronic back pain for longer periods of time and you found that really nothing ever works, I think you're going to find the resources that we publish on this channel really useful. So subscribe to this channel and let's get started. So there's this common belief that sitting is causing back pain. And that's not exactly the case always. First of all, sometimes and probably in a lot of cases, that may be exactly the root cause of back pain. But there is one problem with that theory. The root cause of chronic back pain is often not physical. In fact, in most cases, it's probably not physical. If you've seen other videos on my channel, you know I talk a lot about this and I discuss other root causes for chronic back pain, which can be psychological and emotional. And when that's the case, and this is a lot more common than people think, sitting can actually be something more like a trigger. So it's not the root cause, it's not something that's directly causing the pain, but it's something that kind of brings it to the surface. The way I kind of discovered this, and I think a lot of people may also reach the same conclusion, is let's just say you start sitting a lot. Maybe you've just started working. And a few maybe weeks after that, or maybe a few months after that, your back starts hurting, maybe for the first time. But what happens if you then stop sitting? Maybe you switch to another type of job, or maybe you're unemployed for a time, or maybe you're on a vacation for a longer period of time, or just traveling. Chances are you're going to discover that your back pain may not be as worse while you as during the time when you're sitting, but it's still there. And this can be a major sign that actually sitting is not the major root cause for your chronic back pain. Now, to make things confusing here, sitting actually coincides with let's say, the events and the situations that actually are the root cause for chronic back pain in a lot of people. So let's say you're starting with a new job, and maybe the job is actually stressful. Maybe the boss is a little bit of a jerk. Maybe the environment is not really friendly. You don't really like it, and maybe that whole experience kind of reminds you of, let's say, a traumatic event you've had from your childhood, maybe. And essentially, you have a back pain attack. Your back starts really hurting. You think it's all of the sitting, but it may actually be just being a kind of triggered. And I don't really like that phrase, but in this case, it's exactly what's happening. Like you're being reminded of a hurtful emotional pattern from your past, and that's exactly what's causing your back to flare up. And I know this is an outlandish idea still, but I think you're gonna see that this idea is actually gaining a lot of traction, especially recently, and a lot of people are going to start getting educated on this. We're not going to really go into a lot of depth on the actual root causes of chronic back pain, but I promise you that for a lot of you, probably for most of you, the root cause is actually an emotional or physical or psychological distress that you've probably suffered from the past, or maybe something that you're still carrying with you to this day unresolved. This can be really, really, this takes a lot of people by surprise. I didn't see this one coming myself, but when I finally addressed it, all of my back pain disappeared forever. But even if that's the case, sitting is still not good for back pain. It's still terrible. It's horrible. One of the worst things you can do. And besides your body being in this really unnatural position for long periods of time and being stiff and inactive, there's also the added penalty of you not engaging in physical activity during the time you're seated. Essentially, the human body is built to be really active, and in the modern times, sadly, almost none of us is as active as we should be. In fact, sitting makes it a lot more difficult to be active. There are a few things you should do about this, so you should definitely take plenty of breaks, definitely stretch even while you're sitting in your chair. Do small breaks where you kind of maybe move your neck a little bit, to roll your shoulders, kind of twist to the sides. Maybe, ooh, I got a few pops in there. I don't know if you heard that, but maybe kind of stretch your spine a little bit. Get up, do a little bit of whatever break works for you. Do short breaks, do a few longer breaks as well. All of that you probably already know and you should be doing it. But besides that, you should really strongly consider strength training if you're not doing it. Definitely consider starting going in the gym if you're not, or maybe another form of strength training, although the gym is really, it has a really nice way of progressing. You can start really with smaller weights and really move up really quickly. Actually, you're gonna strengthen your body a lot. Essentially, you want to target the muscles in your core, in your abs, in your sides, in your back as well. But strengthening your entire body is generally a good idea. And of course, sitting is usually related to stress. The job is usually stressful itself, and the inactivity is also making it kind of worse. So you also want to consider other stress relief and management techniques: meditation, breath work, yoga, exercises. Actually, probably the best one actually, but all of the other ones can be really good as well. But still, if you're struggling with back pain and you're sitting a lot, it's probably not the root cause. And in any case, you're still probably going to have to continue sitting in your life. That's just the nature of most jobs today, where we, especially office jobs, like we kind of have no choice. We have to be seated. The standing desk thing is, it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea to kind of keep alternating between sitting and standing. But if you try, like, let's say, working from a standing position the whole time, you're pretty soon gonna discover that your legs hurt first of all, but then also like your back is also gonna probably hurt as well. So while that's a good technique, mostly it's still not gonna resolve the problem. And again, it's not really gonna attack the root cause of the problem, which, as I mentioned, is something completely different. It may be the sitting for some of you, but I think for most of you, it's actually something completely different. And if we want to see exactly what that is and how to address it once and for all, check out the next video that's going to appear above me. I will see you there. And until next time, be brave.